Hi everyone. So today we are going to do the vocabulary lesson called Same, Different. So if you remember this one, this is where we'll write the word and then we will come up with a synonym and an antonym. So remember, a synonym is a word that means the same thing. An antonym is a word that means the opposite thing. So let's get started with our first word, which is text. So text is just the words in a printed piece of writing. So for synonym, I'm going to put words. So just to be kind of simple here, the opposite of words would be pictures. So if I say, look back at your text to see if you can find the answer, I'm meaning to look back at the words. That wouldn't mean look back at the pictures to see if you can find the answer. When I say the word text, it means specifically words. Our next word is capitalization. So this means the act of making letters uppercase. So I'm going to put, for our synonym, I'm going to put uppercase. So what in the world would be opposite of uppercase? So if a letter is not capital, then it's lowercase. So actually, every letter that I have written here is lowercase besides this A and this S. They are capital. Word number 3 is conclusion. So the definition of conclusion is the result, the end, or finish of something. So I'm going to use a word right from our definition, and I'm going to put the end. So the opposite of the end, I'm sure you can think about it. The opposite of the end would be the beginning. So if you remember that conclusion is at the end, I'm sure you can remember our next word, which is introduction. And the definition of introduction would be the beginning section. So just like for conclusion, I'm going to use a word right from my definition. And I'm going to use the word beginning. Beginning. And then the opposite of the beginning, well, the opposite of the beginning would be the end, which also could be a conclusion. So I'm going to use that. So conclusion and introduction are synonyms and antonyms. I said that incorrectly. Conclusion and introduction are opposites, so they are antonyms. And our final word is a little tricky. So I'm not for sure that we have an antonym or something that is the opposite, but we will just go for it anyways. So our final word here is context. The definition of context is the information surrounding a word or a phrase that determines exactly how it was meant. So this one is just going to be a little bit more tricky for us to come up with these words and honestly for our brains to understand. This one's just a word that we don't use all the time, but we use it sometimes. So I would say that a synonym or a word that means kind of the same would be surrounding. So let me write this. Surrounding. And I took that word right from our definition as well. And for context, I honestly don't have an antonym, so that's okay. I'm going to put a question mark because there is not one word that I can find that really is an opposite for context. So remember, the definition is the information surrounding a word or a phrase that determines how it was meant. So I always think of context clues. Context clues help us when we come to a word in a sentence that we don't know what it means, but we look at the clues in the sentence, so we look at the words around it to figure out what it means. So that is your lesson on synonyms and antonyms, or same and different meaning words. And don't forget, review these words and make sure you learn them, because your test will be tomorrow.